Hello everybody, today we are renovating the Raffia Quinta Lot in Oasis Springs. I started off with deleting everything on the inside, and I actually went in it with a vision in my head. I wanted to have lots of pastel colors, a pinkish kind of Barbiecore theme going on, and I wanted to fit this house at least an adult and a child or teen sim with each their own bedroom, so 2 bedrooms, and I wanted to have the small kitchen in the front next to the entryway and a kind of spacious living room with sort of a desk nook office space. Here I'm figuring out the general layout, and I wanted to have a bedroom that also has a bathroom close or next to it, connected with a door, and I figured that's going to be the master bedroom. I placed down some white kitchen counters, and I kind of wanted to have pink counters, but those base game ones that unfortunately do not come in pink, so white was the best next thing to use. And I put this wall beside it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with a half wall or something, but actually later I ended up changing it again. Sometimes I'm just so indecisive with what I want to place down, as you may have noticed from my previous videos. I then put down the doors and some placeholder furniture, but this time it actually was way less placeholder furniture than I usually put, because I had such a vision I pretty much didn't need any guiding help. So I went on with the bathroom, and I struggled quite a bit with the shower placement and also what kind of base game shower I wanted to use, because lately I have been using that shower top combo from Growing Together. I will also put it in the other bathroom in this build, but for this smaller one I just wanted to keep it simple with a sink on the counter, a bathroom toilet, and also the shower, which I ended up changing again to use the one that I usually use. But I tried every shower that I have in this game and I was not happy with any of it. I cut it out of the speed build because it once again got way too long. I just get caught up in choosing one single item and then going literally through every other item in this game until I find one that it fits. As you can see here as an example with the towels, I had to try every other one before defaulting back to the base game simple one. It's just something that I struggle with in every build. Sometimes I like to place shelves next to the mirror, as you have maybe seen in my last build that I did. But for this one I wanted to keep it simple and just have one counter to put all the clutter on and to fit a small painting next to the mirror. I also used this base game wallpaper with those tiles. It used to be one of my favorite wallpapers for the bathroom, and I know wallpaper is not the correct way to say it, but English is not my first language, as you may have noticed, so sometimes I struggle a bit with finding the correct words, especially if I don't want to redo every voice take like a million times. Also here you can see I am actually using this top again that I mentioned before, and for this bathroom I used one full counter and then 2 side pieces, and I placed the mirror and the sink in the middle of it so I could fit a plant or some drawers next to the kitchen counters that I used here. And for this, the vision kind of was that the kid also uses this bathroom, so those hair tie situation drawer basket kind of thing, I don't know how to call it, the one with the hairbrush on top, is here kind of messy, and I think in the other bathroom I used the stored away one with less clutter around it. And I also put the little baby care set that we got when the newborns or the infants were added. Since we don't have any power outlet item in this game, I like to pretend that the light switches are a substitute for that. So I often put it in the bathroom next to the sink or where the hairdryer is on the counter, so to pretend like your Sims can plug it in and dry their hair with it, even though it's just some clutter that is unusable, sadly. Moving on to the kitchen, where I kind of struggled with the layout of the counters. I tried using the island counters, but then the island corner counter didn't connect with the stove, which was annoying me quite a bit. So then I tried to fill it in with a half wall, but it sadly was not the right size for the island counter, so I just removed them and put a half wall across all of the side. I also didn't know where to put the trash can. I really struggle with the trash can placement in most of the houses, because there where I live we usually have the trash bin underneath the kitchen sink, but since the Sims need access directly to the garbage can, you have to put it somewhere in the house, which always makes me feel a bit weird because I don't want the trash can just standing around open like that. But I guess those simoleon trash cans that give you money based on how many Sims are in your family's house are a bit nicer looking than most of the other trash cans, and they also come in a pretty nice color variant. Anyways, here you can see me struggling to change the foundation. Somehow it just wouldn't let me change the color of the foundation that I used. I cut out most of it because it was just me frustratingly clicking around all over the house. I wanted to change the wooden part next to the stairs to match the stairs, but it just didn't accept it, so I just went on with it because sometimes the game is just acting weird and there's nothing we can do about it, then move on with our lives. I then changed the fence to brown because I wanted it to have a bit more of a wood looking theme, and the white just wasn't doing it, so I changed it and I added around a bit more of those flowers, and then I went on to furnish the living room. Also, those chairs, they are such a pretty color. I really like the pink in this game. Besides those very vibrant magenta 2014 sort of colors, they are kind of unusable most of the time, and I like using pastel pink a lot more. Once again, I struggled with choosing a rug. I think this is a general theme that is always recurring when I build in The Sims. This time I didn't cut it, so you can see how much of a struggle it is really. And it's not just, oh, I want to use this rug and then I find it and then I use it, but it's a lot of trial and error. Also, I didn't like that the couch was facing the desk area, and I moved around the windows a bit to fit the center of the living room because I really wanted it to be in front of those glass doors that go out in the garden. After moving everything around for quite a while, I finally found a placement that I liked, so I went on and tried to fit in the clutter into this little IKEA shelf underneath the television. And I kind of struggle with placing it in the shelf. I think I have mentioned it in the last video already, that it's just so annoying that not everything slots everywhere, that they had to define like medium item slots or big item slots and those small item slots. It would have been just so much nicer if everything fit everywhere. And sometimes those big things that fit in there don't actually fit. Some like plants, then they are poking through the little shelf tables and it's just visible and clipping. But other things that should actually fit are not fitting, so I just alt place them most of the time. Also, on another topic, I have noticed that I build differently when I'm recording from when I am not. Most of the time, when I build without recording, I just jump around all over the place. And when I do record, I really try to keep it contained to one area most of the time. Sometimes I do jump around quite a bit, but it's not as bad as when I don't record it. Also, I try to keep my camera movements very low because I don't want you to feel dizzy while watching the speed build. Also, on a different note, if you have feedback, please leave it down in the comments. I'm really interested in positive, negative feedback, just some feedback that I can get better at doing what I do and making it a little bit more enjoyable for you guys that watch my videos. So feel free to leave anything in the comments down below. Anyways, I put the clutter on the desk and I like this new magnetic board and those magnet clips that we got in this ongoing event, like the Imaginary Friends or whatever the event is called. I don't really recall it. Usually oftentimes I use the pin board and put on some postcards, and this is like a new update for the builds that I do that I quite enjoy. I put a little table under those gallery walls and I found the statue of the 3 owls and it's just so adorable. Also, I put a speaker and some crafting materials that I like to pretend were on the table, and then the mother or the father cooked something and the kid was ordered to put it away, so she just put it on the side table to continue after the meal. And I also put the jewelry stand on it, which I think this family will probably be wearing jewelry. I chose this swatch of the fridge because it has some paintings on it that look like they were drawn by a child. And as I said before, I imagine the kid being quite creative. So it just makes sense that the family would keep drawings on the fridge to display them. I love to put those cereal boxes on the counters, and I really love that it has some swatches where there's just some crumbs laying around as if someone just used the box. I think it just makes the whole space look so much more lived in, and this is generally speaking for most of the clutter that I like to use. Like, I love that it can seem like the Sims are leaving their glasses around their house or their phone and their keys just left them on the counters. and the dirty mugs next to the sink. I really love clutter. I feel like there are some items that I use so much in my builds that you can almost say that it is, I don't know, firefly coated, because I pretty much use it everywhere. For example, this tiny living drawer with the space to put clutter on top, I use in almost every build that has an entryway. It just is so useful to have clutter just laying around on it, and it just gives the house so much more depth. And it comes in very nice wood colors that match like most of the things, and it just has some simple swatches. It's not too colorful, but it's also not too simple. Also, I changed the placement of the trash can once again, and it is now part of the entryway as well. There is just a space that it fit quite nice. And once again, I layered those hanging bags with the hanging keys situation, and I also put the shoe rack everywhere all the time. And it makes me think that maybe I can just make a build with one of my favorite items in the whole game, and then as a contrast it would be funny to build a house using items that I almost never use. But I think this could be a content idea for later on my YouTube channel, because I have just started doing YouTube. I want to showcase the things that I'm good at, if it makes sense. So yeah, that could be something to look forward to. Also, since we're already on the topic of using things that I always use, as you can see, I have once again used this light blue wallpaper. It's one of my favorite in the game. And then I moved on and tried to place this little plant, and I tried to place it so that it does not clip with the window, which unfortunately it was doing for quite a bit, so I had to just alt place it really close to the couch. And then I moved on to the kids' room, and I wanted to incorporate this LGBTQ flag. I really love items like this, which just makes it so much more personalized with those little photographs and stuff. We really need more items like this in this game. And I'm not speaking like them giving it to us in more packs, but I want to see it in the base game. It's really nice when they give us stuff in the base game that everyone has. And you may have noticed I do not very limit myself to the packs that I use, because I don't own that many. I just like to use the items that I have because I paid for them. But if you would like to see like a limited pack build, you can leave a comment with a suggestion, and I maybe will build something with just 1 or 2 packs, or whatever combination that you suggest for me if I have the packs. I think this would be quite a bit of a nice challenge as well. Anyways, as you can see, I try to go for a more purpley color scheme for the children's room. I think purple, pink and blue are fitting very well together, not only because it's like the colors of the bisexual flag, but also because they are very similarly toned, I think, and they are actually one of my favorite color combinations, next to the classic blue and yellow that I also use in a lot of builds that I do. Also, I really enjoyed the purple and green color combination from the last build that I uploaded on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, you might want to see what I did there. I think I renovated the Nookstone home in Oasis Springs, and I actually wanted it to be a shorter YouTube video than the first one that I did, but it just ended up being just as long, if not longer, as the first video. And the same actually is for this video as well. I had in mind that I just could do a little renovation that would just take me an hour and a half, maybe 2, but I think I spent 2.5 to 3 hours on this renovation, and I had to cut out so much undecisiveness. Also with this, with the, how's it called, the curtains. I changed it so many times, and I even changed it after this again. As you can see now, I decided I wanted to use those Oasis backyard kit. I always forget what the name of it is. Also, it always annoys me how much it just clips to the window when I don't want it to, and if I want it to clip, it doesn't. Like, make it make sense. It's like those items that can clip, or I mean can slot with other items, are doing it like almost out of spite because they just want to annoy the builder. But anyways, I got it, and I moved on to the reading chair, which also had me change it quite a bit until I used, I think it's from the interior decorator pack. And sadly, it did not come in purple or the purple swatch that I wanted, so I just pretended that it might have been an object that belonged to the mother of the child sim, and then the child just said, I want one in my room, and then she just took it from her parents' room, and now it's in the child's room, and that's why it's pink. Then it was finally time to decorate and furnish the master bedroom, and for it I chose a pink wallpaper, and I wanted to also have a kind of an accent wallpaper, but I first decided to choose the bed. Also, I wanted it to be pink again, and sadly there are not that many pink beds in this game, and none of them really are pink. They are just purple, pink, earthy toned beds, but not the sort of pastel pink that I wanted to be. I also thought about just using a white bed, but I thought that was just plain boring. So I then went with this, I think it also is from the interior decorator pack, with the matching tables next to it. And the accent wallpaper also is from that pack. So if you have the interior pack, you could actually download this building because there are many items that I use from this pack in it. Then I tried to find a desk, which isn't really logical because I already put a desk for those sims right outside of the bedroom, so I just switched it to the wardrobe, or the closet is the correct word for it. And I really love this standing up mirror. I think it's from Growing Together. I just recently bought this pack when it was on sale, I think in September, and there are so many items that I just use everywhere. Also, this plant from Cottage Living is one of my favorite greeneries, and also those hanging little plants from Tiny Living I use basically everywhere. They just fit so nice. Oh, I just now realized that I put the jewelry stand twice in this build, once in the dining space and now here again. And I think it's also the same swatch, which is unfortunate, but if this sim is anything like me, they probably would need two jewelry stands, because I am considering myself kind of an earring collector. I have so many funny and funky earrings that I can just. I think I would be able to wear a different pair of earrings for each day of the month by now. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I think it's coming really close to being like more than 30 different pairs of earrings. So it maybe isn't so bad that I put two of the same object. So now I went through the house and put down light switches everywhere next to almost every door, and I also put a thermostat next to the front entryway, and then I just went around the house and filled up some spaces that I wanted to place like plants or pictures, I think, before I then moved on to the outside, where I put some more landscaping down, and then I moved on to the backyard, which I almost forgot also existed, which is kind of bad for me to admit, but here I am now just furnishing the back patio as well. For so many items, I just wish we had so many more color variations with light wood. I really like those light wood chairs from this backyard stuff pack, but I wished there was a flowery pattern in pink, but then I had to use the red one, which was also okay. But this is also one of those items that I just use so much, but I just can't help it. It's just so simple and so cute, and I actually would buy this for myself in real life as well. Here I'm just doing some final touches for the landscaping, placing down some flowers, and then I last minute decided I wanted to use this jungle adventure hang up wall rock, and here are the final pictures. I really hope you enjoyed building and watching this speed build with me, and I hope to wish to see you on the next video. Bye everybody.